Did you buy it?
Oh, yes?
And it belongs to you.
Well, no. A work of art is not a commodity, Mr. Paradise. It's not bought or sold. It belongs in the possession of the person who produced it. May I come in?
Yes.
Well, did you get my letters, Mr. Paradise?
Yes.
Well, all three of them?
Yes.
Well, why don't you answer my letters, Mr. Paradise?
I have not yet heard the sound of Gabriel's horn.
Well, what do you mean?
The time is not yet ripe for my resurrection. How did you happen to come across that book?
Well, I was out shopping for antiques with my mother on the French Quarter, and we came across this small little shop on Bourbon Street, and there was this little table. It was this little Chinese table with one leg slightly longer than the other. Well, the antique dealer had put this volume underneath the table to help balance it. My mama bought the table, and the chauffeur took the table out to the car, and that little book was just lying on the floor. The antique dealer just kicked it to the side without even looking at it. I mean, there is something very depressing about a discarded book. I mean, I write a little myself, poetry mostly, and I know what it means to put your heart on paper just to have it lost or forgotten or used to balance a table. So I look over and I look at the book, and the title's disappeared. All the gilt lettering is gone. But your name was on it, Mr. Anthony Paradise. I found that fancy. So I opened it up and looked at it. Why, this is a book of poems, I said. Is it, said the antique dealer? So I said, well, how long has it been here? Well, where did you get it? Who's Anthony Paradise? Well, he just laughs and says, God only knows. I probably got it a long time ago. It probably got stuck in some bookcase that I bought from somebody. So I say, well, I'd like to buy it. How much you want for this book? Well, he raises his arms out in a malicious gesture and says, you can have it for nothing. Well, so the chauffeur comes in and says the mother's waiting in the car. So I rush off, I put that volume in my pocketbook, and I head to another cocktail party. Well, I'm back from university, so my life is a sort of things like that. It was particularly boring that day, and I don't believe in boredom. I believe in wonder and excitement and passion. I believe everyone has a storm in their hearts, a great big furious storm that sweeps away the trivialities like scraps of ribbon and dead leaves. Well, I went upstairs to read that book. I finally remembered when someone asked me if I liked Renoir for the 20th time. To my wonder and excitement, I found exactly what I was looking for, a great big furious storm to sweep away the trivialities like scraps of ribbon and dead leaves. Well, what do you think of that?
Are you referring to that new book of verse?
Well, yes.
Young lady, that book was published 15, 20 years ago. Nobody remembers it now. It's completely forgotten.
Well, I do. I sat in that powder room for as long as I can remember. I read it once more, and then again, and again. It was like bells ringing in my heart, like a cathedral of bells that shook me through and through. Well, Mother comes upstairs and says, my goodness, everyone thinks you run from the party. She says, what on earth is the matter? So I say, Mother, have you heard of Anthony Paradise? Ever heard of a man get back to university. So I drove over to the address the publishers gave me, and to my wonder and excitement, you were in residence there, and had been for the last 15 to 20 years. Well, I wrote you a letter, but you didn't answer. Well, the time came for me to go back to school, so I faked that I was sick. I pretended I had a cold, and I wrote you 2 more letters, which you also ignored. Now, I'm not going to ask you why, it doesn't matter. But I decided at that point I was not going to be ignored, and that you were going to be rediscovered. So, there you are, Mr. Paradise, and here I am.
Yeah. There you are. Here I am. And what are you intending to do?
Well, don't you know? Can't you guess? I want to give you back to the world.
Give me back to the world.
Well, yes, the stupid world that let you slip
Well,
away.
suppose I don't want to go back. Suppose I prefer to remain in oblivion, young lady.
Well, you can't. You just have to. There is nothing you can say about it, Mr. Paradise. I have already set the wheels in motion.
Well, then stop them quickly, please.
Well, I've already written letters to different publishers and writers in the East. I've got a lot of interest with you. When I leave here, you're coming with me.
No.
You're going to get lectures and readings.
Readings to whom?
Well, colleges.
Lectures about what?
Love, excitement, wonder.
God forbid. Haven't you been reading the newspapers lately?
What?
What are they interested in? The world is interested in gunpowder. Poetry cannot compete with the sound of bursting shells. But these are the times for the discovery of weapons of mass destruction, not for the resurrection of neglected poets. Even if I wish to be resurrected, Gabriel has not yet blown the horn. The surest and cruelest way to destroy Anthony Paradise the poet is to exhibit Jonathan Jones, the man. What is left of a man. Can't you see that? To what a grisly spectacle I would present on a college lecture platform. But just look at me. You're not blind. What do you see?
Well, how you look doesn't matter.
Oh, yes, it does. Maybe not to you because you are young and generous. Oh, the time isn't ripe yet. You keep the book. You remember my name and you watch the obituary column. Someday you'll see the name of Jonathan Jones. And you come back around and you look up Mr. Anthony Paradise. That will be his time. When Jones is dead. Jones is the living contradiction of Paradise. Paradise won't be able to breathe until Jones has stopped breathing. Now you take my word for that. Be satisfied.
Well, can't you be Anthony Paradise again?
No. No. It's too late. I'm too old. Death is the only thing that can save my reputation. You go back to school, little girl. There's an end to everything, even supplies of gunpowder. When they're exhausted, people will start looking again under broken table legs for little volumes of forgotten verse. By that time, Jonathan Jones will be safely out of the way. The sun will be shining in a clean blue sky. The wind will sand, sandy beaches. The world will be warm and serene and as young as tomorrow. And then all the old sweet gentle voices will be distinguished once again. Then you'll hear wind in the trees and rain on the roof and songs of long lost past. See guns explode and destroy and are destroyed. But these little songs, however little and unimportant they may be, they keep singing forever. They have their times of eclipse, but they rise again. See, the motion of life is upward, and the motion of death is down. Only the blindest of all blind fools can fail to see which is finally highest of them. Life, not death, my dear. Life. I defy them to destroy that forever. Not with all their guns. Not with all their destruction. We'll keep on singing. And someday, air all over the earth will be full of our singing. Is that your chauffeur?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you better go.
Mr. Paradise,
Yes.
maybe you're right. I'll do what you say. I'll keep the book. And when the time comes, I'll remember your name.
Yeah, and you'll watch that obituary column.
Yes, when the time comes, you can count on me, Mr. Paradise.
Well, thank you, my dear. I shall count on you.
I have your future in my hands, and I won't let you down, Mr. Paradise. Now, Mr. Paradise,
Yes.
will you kiss me goodbye? Why?
For the same reason that I would not pick up a clean white tablecloth with mud all